Church. Welcome to all, whether you're visiting us for the first time or have been here many times before. Whether you're joining us here in the sanctuary, remotely via Zoom, or watching this recording later, it's good to connect with you. Today, children will be with us in the sanctuary to hear a story before heading off to their activities of the morning. The family room, which is just to the left at the back of the sanctuary, has audio of the service piped in, and that's open for parents and children. Care is also available in our nursery on the lower level for infants and children through age 5. By greeting our virtual neighbors, we build a bridge between online and in-person participants. First, we'll project on our screen the image of folks who are with us on Zoom, and if you're comfortable doing so, please turn on your camera and give us a wave. Now we who are gathered here in the sanctuary are invited to turn and face the camera in the back and give the folks on Zoom a wave. Coffee and conversation will follow the service in Hodis Hall, which is located to the left as you exit the sanctuary. Our newcomer table is a place where visitors and newcomers can meet and chat with members of the congregation and with each other. All are encouraged to drop by, just look for the colorful sign. And there will also be an opportunity for virtual coffee hour on Zoom after the service ends. Whenever, however, and wherever we connect with BUC, we are building this beloved community.
Hymn to the Light by David Breeden. Our light is the light of the sun, keeper of all we love. Our light is the light of the earth, provider of sustenance. Our light is the light of all living things, life precious like our own. Our light is the light of each of us, bound together in need and hope. Our light is the light of the cosmos, keeper of all we know.
Please rise now in body or in spirit and join in singing Gathered Here. I think there will be some instructions about how to do that.
Good morning. We are going to sing this all together one time, and then we'll sing it as a round. Everybody that's to the left of the chancel will go first, and I'll conduct you. And everybody to the right of the chancel will go second, and Abha will conduct you. Okay? So we'll sing it all together once. Okay? Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Spirit, draw near.
Each new day is a path of wonder, a different invitation. Days are where our lives gradually become visible. Often it seems that we have to undertake the longest journey to arrive at what has been nearest all along. Mornings rarely find us so astounded at the new day that we are unable to decide between adventures. We take on days with the same conditioned reflex with which we wash and put on our clothes each day. If we could be mindful of how short our time is, we might learn how precious, need the glasses. We might learn how precious each day is. There are people who will never forget today. The liturgy of dawn signals the wonder of the arriving day. Magic of darkness breaking through into color and light is such a promise of invitation and possibility. No wonder we always associate the hope and urgency of new beginning with the dawn. Each day is the field of brightness where the invitation of our life unfolds. A new day is an intricate and subtle matrix. Written into the mystery are the happenings sent to awaken and challenge us.
Well, let's see what we have for our story today. A fin, a tail, a giant splashing whale. What's that mind-blowing sensation? That's awe. It's everywhere. Aw, like these adorable kittens. So cute. Well, not exactly. Introducing awe, an awesome, wondrous, empowering emotion. When chills travel down your spine and sudden tears surprise your eyes. When your heart exclaims, ooh, ah, whoa. That's when you know you found awe. Awe can be small, yet splendid. Or big, beautiful, open-ended. Awe can be silent. Awe can be loud. Awe feels awesome when shared with a crowd. Awe can be deep and dark and frightful. Yet awe brings hope and joy, delightful. Sometimes awe can scrape the sky. Toy Brick City is supersized. Awe can be mystical, lyrical, spiritual, a miracle. Awe surrounds us everywhere, in people who care and the love we share. Feel the awe in every good deed. Rise up to help a friend in need. Awe wakes you, shakes you, calls you to create in unity, community, so much to celebrate. Today and every day, let's welcome awe. Welcome those chills that travel down your spine. Welcome those sudden tears in your eyes. When your heart exclaims, ooh, ah, whoa, that's when you know you found awe. In your backyard or as far as the stars, may you find awe wherever you are. And with that, we'll have our children and youth join us in the pavilion as we head off to our class.
The mission of Birmingham Unitarian Church is to be a free and welcoming religious community that encourages lives of integrity, learning, service, and joy. One way we live out this mission is by giving half of our weekly offering to a nonprofit organization that shares our values and addresses needs in the community. To suggest a nonprofit for this donation, please check the BUC website under Justice to find the application form. Our plate sharing recipient for April, the Michigan League of Conservation Voters, protects Michigan's air, land, and water by activating voters to elect and hold accountable public officials who fight for an environment that sustains the health and well-being of all. The impacts of climate change are intensifying, and decades of disinvestment have resulted in certain communities disproportionately bearing the brunt of these impacts. By working together, we can reverse these disparities and ensure all Michiganders, regardless of income or zip code, have clean air to breathe, to have safe water to drink, and a healthy community. The ushers will now receive these morning's offerings, given and received in a spirit of generosity and gratitude, and dedicated to the good work of the Michigan League of Conservation Voters and this congregation.
for simple things that are not simple at all, for miracles of the common way, sunrise, sunset, seed time, harvest, hope, joy, ecstasy, for grace that turns our intentions into deeds, our compassion into helpfulness, our pain into mercy, for providence that sustains and supports our needs. We lift our hearts in thankfulness and pray only to be more aware and thus more alive. We hold each other in our hearts and minds with all our joys and all our sorrows. I can't hear you. Yes.
Thank you. Just a joy and a sorrow. Stephen Deering, my co-director of music, is at home feeling quite a bit of turbulence right now in his body, and so he's not able to be here with you this morning, but I also have a joy because he has recorded his music in the past, and so we've been able to channel him from the past. So we're appreciative that you could still get to hear his guitaring.
Betty Moen asks for continued thoughts and prayers for Brian Johnson after 7 weeks in the hospital. I would also ask for thoughts and prayers for Betty as she cares for Brian. We remember those experiencing losses and those facing health challenges. We pray in whatever way we pray for all those affected by war, by hatred and violence. We pray for peace. The cares of the world are many. Even when the cares of the world weigh on us, may we find joy in our connections with each other and in the pleasures that life holds. Let us take care of one another and ourselves in all the ways we can. Let us make this a safe and welcoming place for all. And on this 4th Sunday of the month, we light candles of remembrance. If you wish to do so, please come forward now to silently light a candle or light a candle wherever you are in remembrance of a sorrow that weighs on you or of a joy that lifts your heart.
I think I just had an awe moment. Thank you. Awe from Dr. Keltner. Awe shifts us to a systems view of life. Awe shifts our minds from a more reductionist mode of seeing things in terms of separateness and independence to a view of phenomena as interrelated and dependent. For example, brief experiences of awe shift us from the illusions of the 20th and 21st century thinking that we are separate selves to realize that we are embedded in a complex social network of interdependent individuals. Awe moves us to a sense that we are part of the natural world, one of many species, in an ecosystem of species dependent upon one another for survival. Awe opens our eyes to the idea that complex systems of interdependent adaptations give rise to the millions of species that make up the living world. Awe even leads us to see systems like patterns of agency organizing random sequences of digits. Awe enables us to see that life is a process, that all endless forms, most beautiful, are deeply interconnected and involve change, transformation, and impermanence.
Is the word awesome overused, or is awesomeness underappreciated? Like the astronauts who returned from a lunar flyby earlier this month, do we need a new vocabulary? An article in the New York Times titled, "Houston, we have no problem, but we do have a lot of moon joy," recounted the astronauts' attempts to describe their experience. The article said, "Science is often viewed as colorless and objective, to be conducted with little emotion or expression. But as the Artemis II crew members painted lunar hills, valleys, and plains in the minds of listeners back home, they provided a model for a poignant approach to scientific inquiry. The awe emerged over the weekend as they approached the moon. The mission's commander eagerly noted impact craters and a swirl on the lunar surface. It's just everything from the training, but in 3 dimensions and absolutely unbelievable," he said. "This is incredible." A NASA officer in mission control laughed in response. "Copy, Moonjoy." The pilot was particularly enthralled by the magic of the moon's terminator line, which separates its sunlit side from the part shrouded in darkness. He noted islands of light and valleys of black holes along the divider. He said, "You'd fall straight to the center of the moon if you stepped in some of those." It was hard to speak, he told Mission Control during the flyby. In between more technical descriptions of the moon, he described where his imagination had gone. "I was walking around down there on the surface, climbing and off-roading on that amazing terrain," he said. Down in Houston, Mission Control cheered. "We just all went on that moonwalk with you," said a lunar expert who was leading the scientific part of the Artemis II mission. Expressiveness came to a height while the crew watched a solar eclipse from space during the final part of their lunar flyby. The sun slipped behind the moon, including a halo of light around the lunar rim, while its face shone faintly, lit by the glow from Earth. The crew described a field of stars surrounding a darkened moon and identified Mars from its reddish hue, as well as an orangey Saturn. Earth also glimmered bright. They reported flashes of light on the lunar surface, meteor strikes in real time. As the sun emerged on the other side of the moon, the astronauts likened the growing spot of light on the lunar horizon to a flame, and the wispy streams of its outer atmosphere to baby hair. After a while, words just wouldn't suffice. "No matter how long we look at this, our brains are not processing," said one of the astronauts, who jokingly requested that Mission Control send him a list of new words to expand his vocabulary. "There's no adjectives," he added. "I'm going to need to invent new ones. There's absolutely no words to describe what we are looking out this window." The article made clear that the flyby of the moon was literally an awesome experience, stretching the limits of words. And perhaps the astronauts' understatement was more powerful than any adjectives could possibly have been. Dr. Keltner's comprehensive book on the subject of awe defines it as being in the presence of something vast and mysterious that transcends your current understanding of the world. Perhaps the point is that the experience of awe stretches our limits. Yellowstone National Park was not on my bucket list. Of course, I knew that Yellowstone was the home of Old Faithful, Hot Springs, and Yogi Bear. You know, the one who was smarter than the average bear? That was Yellowstone, wasn't it? Oh, Jellystone, okay. Not quite the same thing. My daughter Megan had told me about the super volcano under Yellowstone, overdue to erupt, and her own desire to visit, perhaps before the eruption. But I wouldn't have thought of Yellowstone as a destination until my friend Mary invited me to help her family make the trip. I was willing to help, interested enough to see the sights of Yellowstone, and happy to have Megan included. To my amazement, the sights of Yellowstone include geysers, hot springs, steam vents, pools of boiling mud, and ponds of multicolored algae that all seem to belong to a planet other than Earth. You may have been there or seen the pictures. And then there are the ordinary sights, like waterfalls, rock cliffs, and pine forests. Everywhere I turned, there was beauty, and nothing I had ever seen before. As I looked around, I had a sense of completeness, as if I had seen everything I needed to see. And yet I was reminded again and again that there is more that remains to be seen if I'm willing to look and pay attention. As Megan drove us around Yellowstone, the sight that made me exclaim, "Stop the car!" was a stand of pine trees and a snow-capped mountain reflected in a mirror-like pond. Pretty ordinary, right? No, it was extraordinary. Keltner tells us that awe is almost always nearby and is a pathway to healing and growing in the face of the losses and traumas that are part of life. Why and how can this happen? Keltner notes that Jane Goodall, renowned primatologist, believed that chimpanzees feel awe and have a sense of spirituality grounded in a capacity that Goodall describes as being amazed at things outside yourself. A recent New York Times article titled "Chimpanzees Are Really Into Crystals" describes research into the impact of crystals on the history of art and the history of mind. The experiment involved giving crystals to chimps who apparently did not want to give them back. Quoting the article, based on their data and observations, the researchers proposed that the chimps were attracted by the crystal's transparency and shape. The lead researcher said that they seemed also to be experiencing something beyond curiosity. So the video that came with the article showed the chimpanzees holding the crystals and just gazing at them, turning them, and being amazed. So the article goes on to talk about the chimps taking the crystals back into their home area where the researchers didn't normally go. So they don't have videos of that, but they didn't want to let go of those crystals. They kept them. And it sounds to me like the chimps in the experiment were demonstrating that capacity that Jane Goodall described as being amazed at things outside yourself. Sounds to me like the chimps were experiencing awe. Why does this matter? Perhaps because the capacity for amazement is part of our DNA that extends back into the heritage of human beings. So I'm going to tell you about a couple of experiences of awe and invite you to think about your own. And I forgot to ask Taylor about a hand mic, so perhaps Taylor we've got a sort of a chaotic morning going on here in a lot of ways, but perhaps there can be a hand mic that can be shared in a few minutes. So for me, a couple of the most awesome experiences that I would describe in my life were a meteor shower. I believe it was the Perseid meteor shower one summer when my family was on Schoolhouse Beach, Washington Island, Wisconsin, which is one of our favorite places in the world, and we hope to go again this coming summer. The meteor shower was particularly active that summer, and we took blankets to Schoolhouse Beach and sat on the rocks, which are round rocks that occur only a couple of places in the world. And Sean, I'll ask you to take the mic around when the time comes. So it was sort of like watching fireworks with the people on the beach oohing and eyeing at particularly spectacular meteors going past, and they were happening, every few seconds, and it was just an amazing, amazing experience. And part of it, I think, was, being with my family, with my children, who were actually children at the time, and now are, I guess they're all actually in their 40s now. So, it was an amazing, amazing thing. So another amazing experience for me, an awesome experience, was watching chicks being born. Perhaps some of you have raised chickens or watched chicks pecking their way out of shells. And for me and my family, this was not a common experience. My oldest son was, I believe, in kindergarten at the time and had brought the class incubator home, and it was sitting on our kitchen counter. So it was time to go to school, time to take the incubator back, but the chicks started being born, so we weren't going anywhere. We were going to watch the chicks being born, pecking their way out of those shells. And it didn't take them very long at all to find their way out of the shells, but to watch them being born and to experience my children standing in front of me in front of the kitchen counter while this was happening was just an awesome, awesome experience. So birth is an amazing thing. childbirth is an amazing thing, but I was kind of busy at the time that my own children were being born, so I wasn't, I wasn't paying attention to, gosh, this is awesome. But afterwards, a student nurse who had been there came to me and said, "That was so exciting." And so she had the opportunity to watch that particular experience. I could also talk about the solar eclipse that happened last year, and was the full eclipse in Bloomington, Indiana, which is where I was at the time. And my children, who by then are no longer children, were able to all come, and we all stood on the balcony of my apartment building and watched that eclipse. And I was taking pictures of them watching the eclipse at the time. So that was my experience, kind of like what the astronauts got to experience from space. So find awe was the mandate that drove Keltner's scientific study. He uses the definition that awe is the emotion we experience when we encounter vast mysteries that we don't understand. But I wonder whether that's an expansive enough definition. Vast mysteries, yes, whether we understand them or not. It seems to me that experiences can be awesome and wonderful, even mysterious and often and also amazing, when we're open to experience the emotion of awe. Wonder follows. I'd like to read a short passage. Sean, we're not quite ready for you yet, but pretty soon. So you can see that there are a lot of Post-it notes in this book, because it's a pretty interesting book, I found. So he talks about wonder following from awe. So wonder, the mental state of openness, questioning, curiosity, and embracing mystery arises out of experiences of awe. In our studies, people who find more everyday awe show evidence of living with wonder. They are more open to new ideas, to what is unknown, to what language can't describe, to the absurd, to seeking new knowledge, to experience itself, for example, of sound or color or bodily sensation, or the directions thought might take during dreams or meditation, to the strengths and virtues of other people. It should not surprise that people who feel even 5 minutes a day of everyday awe are more curious about art, music, poetry, new scientific discoveries, philosophy, and questions about life and death. They feel more comfortable with mysteries, with that which cannot be explained. Keltner's study asked people, what is an experience of awe that you have had? When you encountered a vast mystery that transcends your experience of the world. And perhaps you'd like to take a moment to ponder that question yourself, and perhaps a few of you will share your experiences. So now's your chance. If you have an experience to share, please raise your hand.
Is it on? Oh, thank you. I've had the opportunity to travel to 22 different countries in the world. And of those experiences, I was a volunteer with Earthwatch doing scientific research. And upon coming to Argentina and going to Iguazu waterfall, was absolutely the most breathtaking thing that I've ever seen. And I just saw it again on television. If you have still travel in your mind, Iguazu is unbelievable. You can stand at the edge and they don't care if you fall, and they really don't. It changed my life as a science teacher and helped me bring those wonders to other students.
Thank you. Connie, your story made me think of the time I felt awe. I was in Yellowstone, I mean, it wasn't what I saw, it was what I heard. I was camping above a big, wide valley, and it was full moon, and I couldn't sleep. The moon was coming in the tent, and then I heard this massive migration of bison and elk going down the valley. And the elk were bugling in that prehistoric way that they do, and it was... I went out and I sat under a huge oak tree, some big tree, and just watched this massive migration of bison and elk, bugling and rutting and grunting down this valley. It was really prehistoric but fabulous. I started doing Tai Chi in 2013 with a master of it, and I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the breathing. I got into the breath immediately. But I'd been doing it for about a year, practicing, and one day I'd finished a flow, and I stood there and I felt the energy that your other people said they felt. I finally felt it. It took me a year of practicing Tai Chi, but you feel it flowing through your body, and that was amazing. Once you find it, you don't lose it.
Hi, my first experience snorkeling with sea lions in the wild was phenomenal. They want to come up to you and play. They will swim up to you and blow bubbles in your face and then kind of turn around and swim away like, chase me, and you can feel their body twining around you. It's just, again, communicating that they want to play.
We had the opportunity to go to South Africa about 3 years ago, and we went to Kruger National Park. And we were riding in the car on the safari, and we look out to, it was my right, and we see all these elephants in a processional with their trunks up. We were like, what are they doing? And the guide said they're having a processional for a funeral. One of their members have died, and all of the elephants in the area come and say their goodbyes. And it was so breathtaking watching all these elephants just come from everywhere with their trunks up to come around this elephant who had passed away, and they have a funeral for all of their members. It was beautiful.
When I was in my 20s, my family went out to Rocky Mountain National Park. I had been to the Appalachian Mountains a couple times before that. My dad and I took a trail up to one of the highest points in the park. And you go looking out in just the sheer size of these young mountains. And you could see a mountain that's almost 100 miles away because you got such a long horizon. And then I just stopped and thought, these are young mountains. They're only 75 million years old. So all of a sudden, I'm tiny, not just in space, but I'm tiny in time.
Yeah, I'll just say Harper saying about the prehistoric kind of site that she saw reminded me of just multiple times I've traveled when there's just open skies and you just feel like there's no humans, no development, nothing around. You just feel like dinosaurs could come out at any point. It's just those moments. And there's various countries I've been in or, national parks, things like that. But then I think there's also the contrast with, I'm blown away by technology and just like what humans can do and what we've done. And I think like that's amazing as well. And so just kind of that juxtaposition of being blown away by, wow, this place had dinosaurs and was here and everything's come from, the same elements, and then to, wow, this is amazing and advanced and what we can do with technology.
Maybe one more, because I believe there are a few other things going on this morning. You're at the front. The person I saw was here at the front. All right, maybe two more then.
I would like to talk about the awesomeness of Michigan. We have all kinds of wonders here. We have 4 seasons. We have mountains. And we are surrounded by the longest freshwater coast on this planet. I believe that's a true statement. And you can do a lot of traveling within Michigan, and I encourage that. My plans is to do a lot of traveling in Michigan, and again, the awesomeness of the state is incredible.
Oh, wait a minute. No, it's okay. We've got all day, right? Rummage can wait. Please.
I had the opportunity in the 1960s to go to the University of Michigan Stadium, not to see a football game, but to hear President Lyndon Johnson announce the Great Society. It was thrilling to hear his outlook, his plan for elimination of poverty, improvement of education, things like the Medicare, Medicaid Act, the Voters' Right Act, all kinds of exciting new improvements in our society, something we want to see again in the future.
So I've given the nod to this person at the front over here, and then
I was trying to be humble and pass, but mine's a little bit of a dinky story about a little patch of woodland in my neighborhood growing up that me and the neighborhood kids would go and explore, and one day I got lost in the woods. And I found this beautiful glen that was full of wildflowers, and it was kind of swampy and beautiful. And the sunlight was coming in just the right way, and it made everything look just illuminated. And it was the most gorgeous thing I'd ever seen. And every day I would go and try and find it again, and I could never find it. And when I moved from my childhood home when I was 16, me and all my siblings went out and we tried to find it one more time, and it was the last time I ever saw it, the first and last time I ever saw it. And it was, it was crazy. It was a wonderful coincidence, being able to find this place that I've been searching for my whole childhood on the last day that I ever lived there. So it was full of awe.
thank you all for sharing these experiences.
Can I share one?
Yes, you can share.
Mine was with ABBA. The first time I joined a choir, 13, 14 years ago, we were singing Schubert's Mass in G, and I'd never sung before. And that was, we performed that for Christmas. And when we started up, we had the instruments and all the music and all of you guys, and I couldn't sing. And it was awesome. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. You've created a really safe, beautiful place here for all of us. Thank you.
If you haven't had a chance to share your awesome experience right now, perhaps you can do that over coffee and a donut in a bit. So the study of awe resulted in a taxonomy of the wonders of life, including experiences in nature, the arts, stories of life and death, and epiphanies of understanding essential truths. The study found that what Keltner terms moral beauty, other people's courage, kindness, strength, or overcoming, was what most commonly led people around the world to feel awe. Awesome experiences make us say, wow. Sometimes we even say it out loud. Awe and wonder expand our understanding of the world, helping us know that we are part of something greater than ourselves, whatever that something may be. Awe and wonder help us remember that we are not alone, that we are part of a bigger picture of life and death, of emotion and experience of the world. Wow. Will you join me in saying it? Wow. And now please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing Blessed Spirit of My Life.
Blessed Spirit of my life, give me strength.
Let us see the stars and wonder, by Madeleine L'Engle. Let us never sit fenced off in our apathy. Never sit entrenched in, I don't give a hang. Never look at the stars and yawn. Let us see the stars and wonder. Let us see suffering and cry out against it. Let us praise and let us revile. And we will not have been created in vain.
May we live our lives fully and creatively so that we may be a blessing to ourselves, to each other, and to all those whose lives we touch. Please remain seated for a moment of reflection before heading to coffee hour. Perhaps a chance to share your experience of wonder before the chaos really begins.